northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan, Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in Skycam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Thank you, Kathy. We will have more on the update. Work is expected to begin next week in the Palmerton area to breathe new life into what's being called a biologically dead mountain. Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds says restoring Blue Mountain could take years.
This is Blue Mountain. It's on the Lehigh, Northampton, and Carbon County lines. One side of the mountain is lush and green, but as you can see from Skycam 16, the side facing Palmerton is barren. And here's what it looks like from the ground. To really appreciate it, though, you've got to walk through it. Take a look at it. Almost nothing will grow here.
So it's a little bit sad. But I'm sure it'll adjust itself again sometime.
Earl Seipen others remember the mountain 25 years ago, before the trees died. Next week, sewage sludge will be spread and grass planted. Federal and state officials hope it'll be a step toward bringing back the mountain.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea.
You think it'll work?
We'll see.
Environmental Protection Agency officials blame the New Jersey zinc plant in Palmerton for the mess. EPA says over the years, metal emissions polluted the mountain.
Some of the metal levels we see there are certainly the highest in Pennsylvania, to a certain extent maybe even the highest in the country, of certain types of metals, like, for example, cadmium.
New Jersey Zinc is working with EPA to find out how far the contamination has spread and to decide what to do about it. Although the pollution has caused an environmental eyesore in the Palmerton area, officials say there's no evidence the pollution has harmed the people who live in the shadow of Blue Mountain. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, Carbon County.
All this week, we've been talking about the results of tests Action 16 had performed on bottled water. Tonight, Jerry Gartenberg has some new results just in from the State Department of Environmental Resources. Results of tests performed this week on Lehigh Valley bottled water. Jerry?
Well, Nolan, the state says it found a trace of the suspected cancer-causing chemical methylene chloride in 1 of 5 samples tested. But these new tests did not show any traces of trichloroethylene, also a suspected cancer causer, which our labs found in 5 of the 10 Lehigh Valley samples we had tested. Of course, as we've said all along, results can vary from bottle to bottle. Now, the attorney representing Lehigh Valley says the state tests prove the water is safe to drink. Well, most consumers have thought all along that bottled water is safe to drink.
Well, I looked at bottled water as pure and clean.
It's clean, it's clear, and it tastes good. I think it's fresh. It's cleaner than the water that we're drinking out of our faucets we shouldn't drink.
But remember, bottled water comes from the same sources as tap water. It's drawn from surface waters such as rivers and lakes, or from water that comes up from the ground by way of wells or springs, such as this spring in Glen Summit. Our test results show no pollutants in bottled water drawn from this spring and from another water source in Chester County. But tests done by the Environmental Protection Agency find that 20% of our nation's water supply contains detectable levels of chemical contamination.
We now know that much well water in the country and many springs are becoming contaminated because things that are put on the land somehow often seep into the groundwater and can contaminate groundwater. So unless the bottled water company is testing rigorously, continuously, these contaminants may gradually seep into the areas where the bottled water company have their wells and possibly contaminate the wells.
Now, the EPA says certain types of filters remove most chemicals that could turn up in bottled water. But companies are not required to use these filters, and most we checked don't. Now, tomorrow, in Part 5 of Water Better by the Bottle, we'll look at how Pennsylvania regulates bottled water. Karen, Nolan?
Okay, thank you very much. When Newswatch 16 continues, we'll have a Health Watch report on the battle against cancer.
Are we winning or losing the battle? We'll have a live report next.
When a meal lacks flavor, there's a lot of things you can try.
Just say when, sir.
You can add spices to your salad. You can sprinkle salt on your steak. You can pour ketchup on your meatloaf all day long. But nothing can bring excitement to a meal like Accent. Because Accent wakes up the natural flavors in food that are already there. So don't say when, say Accent. Accent wakes up the flavor in your favorite foods.
miss the Glidden paint sale and sweepstakes at Triangle. Glidden spread wall paint is half price. Regularly $9.99, now just $4.99 a gallon. Triangle and Glidden are giving away a Mazda SE5 pickup truck. Drawing is June 21st, so register to win now at Triangle. And while you're there, buy your Glidden paint at half price.
Triangle Building Centers. Are Americans losing the war against cancer? That question is being raised because of an article in the New England Journal of Medicine. It's a report highlighted last night on ABC's World News Tonight.
In tonight's Health Watch report, Newswatch 16's Mark Annick talked with area doctors. He's live now in Mercy Hospital in Scranton. And so, Mark, are we winning or losing that war?
Well, Nolan, that question may be a matter of who you talk to. If you talk with the doctors who wrote today's journal article, you might think the war isn't going well at all. The report says that in 1950, 170 of every 100,000 Americans died of cancer. In 1982, after adjusting for an older population, it was 185 of every 100,000, an 8% increase. Dr. Harmer Brereton of Scranton's Mercy Hospital says there's one reason for the higher numbers.
Tobacco-related cancers are making the statistics far worse than they would otherwise be if we didn't consume tobacco.
The American Cancer Society says if you don't count lung cancers, there's actually a 13% drop in the cancer rate. The doctors at Mercy agree with the journal report that more time and money should go to prevention and education. The Cancer Society here sends doctors out to high schools to talk with students about the dangers of chewing tobacco. And last month, the Society sponsored free colorectal cancer screenings, much like the ones Newswatch 16 did a year ago. They'll probably turn up about 10 to 20 new cancer cases.
It's a type of prevention. It doesn't really prevent the cancer, but it prevents significant morbidity and mortality because the cancer hopefully would be detected at an earlier stage.
Are we winning or losing then? Well, doctors here at Scranton's Mercy Hospital say if you don't count in the lung cancers, we're making pretty good progress. And they say that since lung cancer is directly linked to smoking, those numbers are some that you can bring down by quitting. I'm Mark Annick, Newswatch 16, live with the Instacam in Scranton. Nolan?
Thank you, Mark. In Luzerne County, rail officials still don't know why 16 tanker cars derailed yesterday near Macanaqua. Skycam 16 shows you the D&H train derailment scene as it looks today, with some heavy equipment helping to put the rail cars back on the tracks in Cunningham Township. There were no injuries in that accident. Most of the tanker cars were empty, according to state police, and no leaks were reported. It was the third derailment on D&H tracks in the last week in our area.
A contractor for the Lehighton Water Authority got a good soaking in the river today. The men were digging a trench for a new water line when their giant backhoe came too close to the Lehigh River and fell in. No one was hurt, but the engine of the backhoe and the driver got wet. Workers are now trying to get the rig out of the water in Lehigh County.
Well, at least it looks like he had some sun to help dry off a little bit. The Weather Watch is next with our sunny meteorologist, Tom Clark.
Yes.
And is that weekend still looking good?
Yeah, not too bad, but I can't promise 80s this weekend. I've had numerous requests for that, but I think you will like it. When we come back, I'll talk about that possible glow in the morning sky. But now I'll say that you're watching Newswatch 16 on WNEP. And we're proud to serve Lehighton and all of Carbon County.
If you could see what I see, you'd come to New York State this summer. If you could play where I'll play, if you could enjoy what I'll enjoy, if you could read what I'll read, you'll come to New York State this summer.
For a free I Love New York vacation guide, call 1-800-524-2466.
1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, and more delicious toppings at Arthur Treacher's free potato topping bar than you'd ever imagine. Pile your potato high with all the toppings you like at no extra charge with any dinner. Go traditional with sour cream and chives or wild with extra cheese and onions on chili, mushroom gravy, cream, broccoli. The choice is yours free at Arthur Treacher's potato topping bar. Come on, top your tater at Arthur Treacher's.
Tom said something about a glow in the sky he's going to tell us about.
What's he talking about?
What is that, Tom?
Has to do with something that will be taking place tomorrow morning shortly after 4 o'clock, when some of us may be awake to see what's happening. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Out back now we have kind of a cool and cloudy breeze blowing down out of New York State, and a few sprinkles could break out this evening, but things are going to dry out over the coming weekend, and what we won't have is rain over the coming weekend. It looks real good, and we'll look at the jet stream pattern, how that's changing in just a moment. But now, weather watchers on duty tonight, beginning out in Carbon County. That's in the town of Summit Hill. And John Bashego checks in with 60 degrees. Mike Cattell in Wyoming has 65 degrees and a few cumulus clouds overhead. And in Rosecrans, Alan Weaver reports 74 and breezy out there at this hour. In our backyard now, I'd say it's mostly cloudy. The reading is a cool 62. Humidity 50%, the wind from the north at 12, and the barometer is at 29.95 and rising as some colder air moves in tonight. 66, the high temperature this afternoon, 49 the low this morning, 90 the record high for the date, and we hit a cool 56 a year ago today. A view from Skycam 16 this afternoon showing some of those dark cumulus clouds over the mountains of Wyoming County. Okay, now tomorrow morning there's going to be a rocket launch off the coast of Virginia, and it's going to be heading up to about 250 miles high into the atmosphere, and this rocket is supposedly going to release a chemical that will cause a bright blue glow in the upper atmosphere. And that will be taking place at about 4:15 in the morning and maybe lasting about 30 minutes. So those of you up at that hour may be able to see it off to the east, and it's kind of unique, but I don't think I'll be awake at that hour. Look at the jet stream pattern shaping up for the weekend. Kind of a snaky flow here, straight down out of Canada over Pennsylvania. So no big warm-up this weekend, but it will stay dry, and with a good bit of sunshine as well. Temperatures about normal for this time of year, so plan accordingly. A lot of clouds overhead tonight, a few sprinkles or showers of rain, especially north and east of Wilkes-Barre. This evening, Forest City, the morning low about 46, Wanami 48, Excelsior, that's down in Northumberland County, 49, and Williamsport 48 tonight, and the breeze from the north. Here's the sunrise time for tomorrow, and that will be at 5:52. Sun sets at 9 minutes past 8. Overnight, mostly cloudy, chance of a shower. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 63. I'd take along a jacket. 67 on Saturday, Sunday. Bright and sunny all weekend long. Temperatures very comfortable, and getting back up into the 70s on Monday. So we'll look at it again tonight.
All right, sounds like there's not much to complain about. Thank you, Tom. Tim Carlson is next with the Sports Watch, with plenty of afternoon baseball highlights.
Plus our sports star of the week, a star who never looks back.
Hi, this is Millie. Oh, you're not going to believe the bargains I just got at Acme. A beautiful Lancaster brand sirloin steak for just $1.49 a pound. Country Pride chicken breasts are just $1.29 a pound. And now I know spring is here. Can you believe it? Asparagus is just 88 cents a pound. And this week's Acme ad has more frequent buyer savings than ever all over town. You know a great bargain when you see one.
Swimsuit competition begins soon. And everyone will be looking at you. Better look into Wendy's light menu. Hundreds of lower-calorie salads, fresh fruit and pasta salad, even lower-calorie multigrain buns. Try Wendy's light menu. See you at the beach.
Going, gone. That's what's happening at Earthley's to our specially purchased selection of Oldsmobiles and Cadillacs with free price increase stickers. Save as much as $1,000 over newly increased prices and get the model, equipment, and cover you want this week only at Earthley's. But hurry, these cars are going fast, and the interest rates on some models have been reduced to an incredible 5.9%. So don't wait. Come to Kingston next to the Armory.
The world of Earthley is the world for you. World of Earthley.
Tim is right on track tonight with the Sports Watch, right?
Absolutely correct, Karen. For the second week in a row, our sports star is one of the area's finest track athletes. Last week's winner excelled in long-distance events. This week, the award goes to a young man who's been a winner every time in sprint events. Al the Oxenrider has more on this week's sports star.
You're looking at 18-year-old Jerry Prosciutti, one of the best high school sprinters in northeastern Pennsylvania. Prosciutti's a 5'9", 155-pound senior at Valley View High School, where you might recognize his name from the football season. But this time of year, his sport is track, which in itself isn't unusual, unless you consider his record. That's what sets him apart. In dual meet competition, Prosciutti hasn't lost a 100, 200, or 400-meter race in almost 2 years.
I only really think about the streak before and after the meets. During the meets, I don't really think about it that much. Coming into a meet, I know if I'll have a tough guy to race or something, I'll think about him a lot. And then once I get by that meet, then it's on to the next guy.
Track is pretty much of an individual type of sport. He knows what he has to do, and he keeps aware of what his competition is, and he does rise to the occasion.
Some people run for exercise, and some people run for fun. But Jerry Prosciutti says he runs for the competition.
That's what keeps me going. I don't think I could ever. A lot of people think like you're dedicated and everything, and you run every day. The only reason I run every day, I think, is because I want to win.
His biggest asset, of course, is just his natural outride speed. But he's worked at it, and he's trained hard at it.
Jerry, on behalf of the Sports Watch 16 staff, I'm proud to give you this WNEP Sports Star of the Week award for your excellence in track at Valley View High School. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. The usual late Thursday schedule in the majors today. Most of the games this afternoon. The Dodgers and Cubs out in Wrigley Field. And the long ball was flying again. Greg Brock with this shot in the first inning made it 4-0 Dodgers. But Sean Dunston does the long ball for the Cubs, too. This cut the lead to 4-2, and that's a long drive there. Later, Keith Moreland with the RBI single to tie it at 4-4. The Cubs went on to win at 6-5 over the Dodgers. In Cincinnati, the Reds lost again. Dale Murphy, watch him here. This guy, home run number 6 the other way off John Denny in the first, and it's 3-0 Braves. Next batter, little Bob Horner, hits the long homer, making John Denny cry. And it's 4-0 Atlanta. And what kind of year has it been for the Reds? Even owner Marge Schott is taking you on the chin, or maybe it's the shoulder. She was okay, glad to say, but the Reds lost for the 10th time in 11 games, 10-5 to Atlanta, and you can see Dale Murphy with another homer here, his 7th of the year. NL scoreboard, the Cubs over the Dodgers 6-5, Atlanta beat Cincinnati 10-5, St. Louis over San Diego 13-3, and in the American League, after 8, Milwaukee and Oakland are scoreless. We'll be back on the update with all kinds of highlights from baseball tonight. Okay, Tim, thank you. Would you buy a car if you could get 2.9% financing?
One dealer is offering that low percentage rate, and we'll show you what it's done for his business next.
Uh-oh, forgot to add the fabric softener.
If only she knew about Solo. You can't forget the softener in Solo, because Solo is detergent and fabric softener in one. Look, these muddy sweatshirts came out clean, but Solo's clean is so soft, it's fluffed up higher.
Don't stop. Oh, don't.
Stop. Next time, get Solo. It cleans with a softness you can't forget.
Finally tonight, an offer that sounds too good to be true. 2.9% financing on a new car. That's what a car dealer in Allentown is offering. We sent Newswatch 16's Kathy Bellich there to find out if there's a catch.
How does 2.9% interest sound on up to $5,000 for new Nissan pickups, Dodge Omnis, and Plymouth Horizons? The deal is very real at Rothrock and Allentown. General Manager Jim Haskett says he's picking up where the car makers are leaving off, absorbing even more of the interest payments and picking up more business.
If we were to compare 2.9 financing for 3 years versus a standard bank rate of 10 to 11% for the same $5,000, it'd be a savings of $500 to $600.
If a customer wants to finance more than $5,000, rates are a little higher, 5.8% and up, but still the lowest around. Haskett says this is his best sales season, and he's trying to get all he can out of it. Sales are up 20% over last month. Hundreds of cars boasting the lower interest rates are selling. And Haskett says by boosting sales, he's boosting the number of cars he'll have to sell.
The more you sell, the more you get. I need to increase my regular sales rate now so that I get more next summer, next fall, next winter. So that's one advantage. I'm also going to generate repeat business. The customers that get a good deal today are going to tell their friends, and they'll come in for another deal this year and next year. Plus, I'm going to get the service and parts business that comes after the sale.
This dealer is rating customer interest pretty high in low interest rates. Kathy Bellich, Newswatch 16, Allentown.
And that is Newswatch 16 for Thursday.
Be sure to join us tonight on The Update when we'll tell you about another new study that says cancer patients may not be getting the right amount of treatment.
World News Tonight is next.